Hello everyone, Mariam Jensen again here. I am a licensed clinical marriage and family therapist and registered play therapist in the state of Kansas. And I wanted to share another intervention with you this week. And the intervention that I sometimes use with a lot of kiddos that I work with in my practice. I work with ages 3 to 9, sometimes older. It really depends, but sometimes I work with the older kids in my practice on getting to know what they can versus cannot control with this simple intervention. So for this intervention, we need a couple of things, maybe 3 if you're gonna do the second part of it. But the first thing, we need Play-Doh. Easy, and usually I give the Play-Doh to the kid after the session since they used it, or if they want me to keep it for them and maybe write their initials so that I know who it belongs to, and then they can play with it again in the future. That can be another idea there. But a packet of Play-Doh and a rock, so very hard rock. So what we need to do, I usually ask the child to feel both of the rock and the Play-Doh. We start sometimes with the rock, sometimes with the Play-Doh. I found that starting with the rock can be helpful. So we feel the rock, how it feels. Well, let's squeeze it really hard and then open our hands. Does it change shape? And usually the answer is no, it did not change shape. It's the same rock. And then maybe we can get it to make some sounds on the table. Does it change shape? Did I change the shape of this rock? Nope. Sometimes the kids would love to describe it. That can be also helpful for sensory processing, just like, oh, it's smooth. Sometimes it's cold if it's colder in the room, or maybe it is, there's like ridges in it. So kind of describing the physical aspects of this rock. And then we go to the Play-Doh. Get the Play-Doh out, and then we can shape the Play-Doh, we can squish the Play-Doh, we can get to like feel how it feels. It's stretchy. It can get to make us like, we can kind of like divide it into 2 halves, or make it one big piece of Play-Doh. We can shape it into any shape we want to give it. So maybe we will make a little ball with it, or maybe we can kind of stretch it. But the idea is to notice how this piece of Play-Doh feels compared to the rock, and how they are very different. While I can shape this piece of Play-Doh to whatever shape I want to give it, maybe I can use a mold to mold it into whatever shape, I cannot really change how this rock really is like. I mean, maybe if I get a sledgehammer, but with my hands, I cannot really change this rock. So in the same way, we talk about things in our life that is in our circle of control versus things in our life that is not in our circle of control. So, and we talk about how the things in my circle of control are like this piece of Play-Doh. I can get to choose a lot about those things. But the things that are outside of my circle of control are like this piece of rock. No matter how much I try, I can't change them. They are not in my hands to change. But even though to empower kids, I do like get a piece of paper or a piece of cardboard, whatever you have in your playroom, or even like an easel sheet of paper, and we draw a circle. Inside of the circle we write in my control, outside of the circle we write outside of my control, and then we list some of the things, like for example, the weather. Is the weather inside of my control or not? It's usually outside of my control. And inside of my control, maybe it's my feelings or my thoughts. Whatever I do with my thoughts or my feelings, my actions about my thoughts and my feelings are also inside of that circle of control. However, other people's feelings and actions and thoughts, they are there. actions and thoughts and feelings. I cannot change them. Now I can help someone. Maybe if someone is feeling sad, maybe I can do something to help that person, but I cannot change the feeling of the other person. That would help the child to know that they are not responsible for other people's feelings. However, they can affect other people's feelings. So with our actions. So we need to be mindful of that. However, also another very important part of this intervention that I always point out, to help empower children over things that they don't have control over, like this piece of rock, that even the things that are outside of my control, there's usually something in my control that I can do about it. For example, if the weather is outside of my control, I cannot change if it's sunny or snowy or windy, but I can do something about the weather. Like if it's snowy and there's not a blizzard and mom and dad say it's okay, then maybe you can go out and build a snowman and make play a snowball fight, right? Or maybe when it's hot in the summer, like a hot summer day and it's sunny, I can go to the pool. So there are some things that I can do about the things that are outside of my control. This is just one example, but you can come up with your own examples. This intervention is usually very, very helpful for children who deal with anxiety, who have a lot of anxiety about the things that they cannot control, because anxiety is all about the need for control, and help the child understand that they have a lot of things inside of that circle of control, rather than focus on the things that they cannot control, and also to help them notice what can they do about those things that they cannot control. Is there something that I can get help with? If someone is other people's actions, we talk about that they are not in my control. However, I get to do something with the actions. So if someone is bothering me at school or bullying me at school or teasing me at school, well, they can't continue to do that because that's not okay. So we need to do something about it. What can I do about it? Well, I can go and talk with someone that I trust, like mom or dad or my teacher, or both, my school counselor, here in the playroom in therapy. So I can do something to stop the hurt. The hurt does not have to continue, absolutely not, even though it is outside of my control. So again, it's very, very empowering, very powerful for children who are dealing with anxiety, who feel like there's a lot of things that are outside of my control. And in childhood in general, there's a lot of things outside of our control when we are a child. I hope this is helpful. Try it, and remember for your own self that some things will be outside of your control, but there will always be something that you can do about it, like this piece of Play-Doh. Thank you, everyone, and until we meet again, feel well and enjoy your day. Bye.